It is Dr. Shanae Turan of SP Consulting Group. I am your organizational development psychologist, as well as your licensed clinical social work therapist and executive leadership strategist, executive wellness strategist. And I don't just teach about theories of leadership or just share the theory. I really am about looking at cognition, the neural pathways, organizational change, management. How do they all collide so that we can have a slew of leaders who have more impact, who have sustainable changes, and really support those that they lead? So, what's interesting is I've been doing a series on TikTok that is specifically on leadership tips, different ones. They vary from burnout to leading lasting change to how to recognize for yourself, be the self-aware of ways that your emotional dysregulation is seeping through the seams onto those that you serve. And then I've been also recording here just about leadership credibility. And I wanted to just take this moment to share a little bit as it pertains to the importance it is for us to lead intentionally. You can't just show up and expect for the impact that you have in your mind to translate in real time. You have to actually do something about it. And that then falls in the category of being honest, being trustworthy, being credible. Something that I wanted to share and sort of dig into comes from personal experiences of how I was able to climb the ladder working in federal healthcare and moved across country to the state of California from Ohio. And one thing that was really important for me was to do a good job, first of all, to make sure that I really solidified my place in the field, having gone from one state to another. And so I just want to briefly share that when I talk about doing the work, when I talk about making sure that there is a way for people to trust you, for you to be deemed credible, it is the work that you do behind the scenes. I've mentioned this in one of my past videos because, again, we're talking about credibility. We were talking about leadership as a relationship. And it's like, it's just important for me to take a moment to stop now, this being, I believe, like the fifth video now that I've been recording since the new year. And it's really just important for us to recognize that self-awareness is key. If what you're doing behind the scenes, you believe, oh, this is just natural for me, that may be the case. But what if you were to take the time to actually build yourself up, to stay on top of it as far as best practices as it pertains to leadership, leading during changing times, leading during very political times, to really make sure that we stay connected and in relationship to the people? What if you were to consider doing that and it not be something that you have to make a huge announcement about? You may share that, but what if you were to just recognize that sometimes you can go from, yes, the forward facing thing where we're directly there with our people, to then what is going on behind the scenes? What are you doing to take care of yourself, to make sure that you are managing your well-being as well? A lot of times that's forgotten because we are in that go, go, go culture. Not only are we in that go, go, go culture, but we're also in a culture where right now there's so much uncertainty that we may fall short by default of being overwhelmed. Because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed then, and there are times most recently where I found myself overwhelmed and I said, okay, hold on. I got to shut some stuff down. I have to shut some things down because right now my passion for helping others during this time where they don't feel that they're getting any help, clarity that's authentic, that can be trusted, that's credible, that I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll help. Yes, I'll help. I'll help. But the reality is, there is a need for behind the scenes for me not only to make sure that I am on it as far as my knowledge, skills, behaviors, but that I'm on it in regards to my well-being. that I'm taking care of myself. And I want this to be a video that, as we're talking about credibility as a leader, as we're talking about building relationship, that we also recognize the opportunities that we have to simply take care of ourselves as a part of the strategic plan, right? Like the Bible tells us to renew our minds daily and to go to God when it comes down to, taking this burden off of us. We're trying to strategize and we're all in our head, but then all of these things start to get confusing and intertwined and knotted up. But what if you were to take some time to just breathe, to disconnect, and to reset so that you can be mentally more clear, more prepared, more ready to support others? Because that might be your purpose in life, supporting others, right? But how can we ensure? How can we ensure that we can go the long haul, especially as the heat is being turned up? We don't know what's real from AI. We don't know what's real from a redaction. There's a lot of uncertainty, but we as servant leaders, as bold, faith-based, and morally bound leaders, we have to remember that we can't become weary in well doing. That's something, one of my favorite scriptures, Galatians, I believe it's 6:9, where it says, do not become weary in well doing, for in due time you will reap if you faint not. Right? So as we are looking at these changes, as we're looking at ways in which that we can sustain servant leadership as our model, as our format through which we do these things, what can we do to ensure that we're okay? We have to take breaks, drink your water, mind your business, as they say, exercise, check in with your doctors, maybe make it a part of your plan to be able to get, massages, to have extended weekends, whether it's I'm leaving early on Friday, going in late on Monday, strategically when, it's not too much going on, so that you can have regular rest built in, micro breaks. This is just your reminder. I'm always, sharing about that, taking breaks, and it's okay. And it's a part of strategy. It's the part of strategic planning, risk management. It falls within all of that to learn how to rest and to be still. So let this video be just a reminder. Let this be a reminder that a part of your credibility in being honest, being transparent, part of your credibility in being sustainable and consistent, and having ability to forecast, having foresight, requires you to also have foresight regarding your well-being and how it is that you can ensure that you are solid, that you're okay, so that the stress and the overwhelm of the noise that has grown over the years and have shaped us to work a certain way, to hustle a certain way, and miss opportunities in ways to rest. How can we get in that place and mindset? So I'm not going to labor this conversation much further. I just wanted to do a quick little reminder that a part of leadership credibility and transparency is self-awareness and your need to rest, your need to refresh, and be able to stay sharp for the long haul. So you guys be blessed. Have an amazing weekend. All of the things that you need to do it, but also rest. And again, put it on a schedule if you need to, okay? So I'll just say bye for now. You guys take care. Be blessed. And we'll be in touch till next week, talking more about leadership and ways that we can build credibility during these challenging times, okay? All right.